Are we done? Say hi. Say hi to the camera. You're being mean. Hi book babes, my name is Ainslie-Marie and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing a May wrap up for you guys. Also, please ignore my brother's dog is a 7-month-old puppy. My dog is a 6-year-old little brat. So they're currently running around the background, barking and having fun. So good for them, but very annoying for me trying to film. Anyway, so let me just tell you about May. So the first week of May, I was busy studying, doing exams, moving out of my dorm, all that fun stuff, and then proceeded to spend about a week or 6 days with my best friend, and then I proceeded to go to a church retreat, not a church retreat, but it was like a Christian retreat for like 3 days, and then I had to drive 7 hours back to my home. So for like the first half of May, I was pretty much busy. I think I only read about 100 pages in those 15 days, which is so sad and not like myself. And then as soon as I got back here, I kind of crashed because after being go for so long, you just need a break. So I wasn't necessarily reading that time either. So I didn't really read any. But I managed to crank out 4 books, which is very, very exciting. So I read a total of 4 books this month, which is good for some, not good for me. But my average rating was 4 stars because I had 2 5 stars, 1 4, and then 1 2. That 2 really just messed me up. But it's fine, whatever, no big deal. I just kicked my tripod. I read a total of 1,395 pages, which again is not a lot, but these books were actually pretty on the thicker side, so that's okay. But yeah, so without further ado, let's just go ahead and get on into the wrap up. So unfortunately, I have misplaced the first book that I read this year. We're in the process of moving, so I have so many books just scattered around the house right now, and I have no idea where I placed this book. So I read Stolen by Lucy Christopher. Anyway, yeah, I read that. I ended up giving it 2 stars because it wasn't good. Ah! Hello! Did you eat my book? Did you eat my book? Okay. What? What do you want, baby? I'm in the middle of filming. Yeah, so I ended up giving the book 2 stars. It honestly wasn't even that good. It was written in second person. So we were reading it like we were the kidnapper. I'm a criminal justice major. I'm never going to be a kidnapper. I hated that feeling. So I didn't like it. There were no chapters. Like it was all just one big story with no breaks. Where do I put my bookmark? Where do I stop reading to go to dinner? Like, I just genuinely, like, didn't know how to read the book, and I didn't like reading the book. The characters were good. It basically followed this girl who was kidnapped in an airport, and it just goes through her journey of being captive and then being saved. Here comes Sharky. But, yeah, so it was basically just a story about her being captured, her being a kidnappee, and then her being saved and being reunited with her family and friends. And the story was good, obviously, because it had a happy ending, but at the same time, it was so annoying and frustrating, and I hated having to get to that happy ending. So I'm happy that if I had to lose a book, I'm really happy that it was that one. I found this book off of TikTok because my friend was like, oh my gosh, this had such like a big plot twist. It was the best book ever. I have yet to text her and be like, where was the plot twist? Because I genuinely couldn't find it. I reread the ending like 3 times because I genuinely didn't know where the plot twist was. So yeah, not my favorite book ever, but it's okay. The next book I read was We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han, which is the 3rd book in the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. Really good. I gave this book 4 stars. What the heck am I doing? Do you want to say hi now? Can you say hi now? Look at the camera. Look at the camera. You're so cute. You're so cute. He's also my least favorite dog out of the 2. so that's nice. I never rate series books higher than a 4, like the ending, solely because they're never going to be as good as the beginning book. Please, sir! Mister! Anyway, so I love this story. It was not what I was expecting at all. The main character, Isabella, or Belly, she is going through the summer between her freshman year of college and her sophomore year of college, which that's the same summer I'm in right now. And it was really interesting to read what she's doing versus what I'm doing, because I'm doing absolutely nothing. I mean, then again, COVID has really wrecked summer plans. You know, she's engaged though, so I'm in my season of singleness for the 3rd year now, which is fine. I'm thriving. I'm loving myself more and more every day. But I just think it's funny that she is very much getting married and I'm very much single. But yeah, I love the characters. If you guys want a slow burn romance that's very summery, I mean, this takes place at a beach house. And every book is a different summer, but it has the same characters, it's the same location, and it's a different plot. She's basically falling in love with these 2 brothers who are her childhood best friends. And the whole time it's like, they finally like me, I'm finally attractive enough for them, I'm finally one of their types, but I'm in love with both of them, which one do I pick? Slow burn, slow burn, but I absolutely love it. I devour these books in literally... So the first one, it took me like 2 days, but that's because I was reading it in a reading slump. The second book literally took me 2 hours because it was so good. And then this one took me a day because I was super busy. But such a good book. Such a good book. And I read it on the beach and it was just perfect. But yes, I gave it 4 stars only because the ending was so rushed and I didn't get... I don't know, I just feel like it's the ending to 3 books, and I wished it was longer, but I think that this is Jenny Han's debut book, so I understand why it wasn't as good compared to other books that I read, because it is her debut novel. Can you stop eating my book, please? Thank you. But yeah, so 4 stars, I love it. I look forward to reading more of what Jenny Han puts out, because I love this trilogy. I loved her To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy, and I'm just super excited to see what else she has in store for us. Yay! The next book is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. The cover's a little glossy. I don't know if you guys can like see it, but this was a reread for me. I read it in the summer of 2019. 5 stars then, 5 stars now. This book was perfect. I read this book in 3 hours. I started reading outside while I was tanning. I proceeded to get too hot, so I came in here and I didn't put it down until I was finished with it. So this is like, it's a pretty chunky book. And I read it in 3 hours because I love the characters. I love the plot. It's an enemies to lover, which is one of my favorite tropes. I love everything about this book. I love everything about Christina Lauren. This is one of my favorite summer reads. The book wasn't as good this time, but that's because I knew what to expect, so it wasn't like that big of a at the end. But that's okay. That's okay. I mean, it's a reread, so I can't expect it to feel as perfect as it did the first time. But man, just being back in this world, being back with these characters, I think, yeah, Olive. I love Olive. I want to be Olive. Okay? Let's talk about how much I'm in love with Olive. Okay? Okay. I love her. I want to be her. I love how she has, like, her strengths are my weaknesses, but we also have very similar personalities, so I'm absolutely in love with this book. I am trying to tell myself not to reread it again, because there's other books that are more deserving of my attention. I've been in this world twice. One book deserves my attention for at least one go around, right? No, I want to read this book again. And then right after I'm done reading it for the 3rd time, I want to read it for a 4th. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I'm in love with this book. It's an enemies to lover. If you guys have been on my channel before, you guys have probably heard me rave about this book, as everybody should, because this book is incredible. My mom loved it. I don't know, whenever I start dating someone and they ask for my hand in marriage, I'm not going to say yes. I'm going to be like, did you rate The Unhoneymooners a 5-star? Because if they do, of course, put the ring on my finger. But if they don't, they're getting a slap and I'm walking away. Anyway, I'm in love with this book. Favorite characters, mwah. Enemies to lovers. I am literally obsessed with it. I'm gonna put it down now. But like I said, 5 stars and worthy of your time. Hi! Oh, no, sir. No, sir. The last book I read is Hurricane Summer by Asha Bromfield. Or is it Asha? Asha? I genuinely don't know how to say it. I'm so sorry. But this book was another 5 stars. Oh my goodness, it was so good. The only problem that I had with it was that the dialogue was unrealistic. It was so unrealistic. That would not, like, the words that they said, that would not be used in, like, that normal of a conversation that she was having. But it was so poetic. I loved the character. I loved the character because everybody else is horrible. I loved that this shone light to the Jamaican lifestyle, Jamaican living. I don't know. I've never really been there. But this definitely showed her having like what is it? A culture shock? Is that what it is? I learned more about the culture in Jamaica. I also love how this book mentioned like sex shaming and how victim blaming is a serious problem, not only in America or Canada or Jamaica, but basically all over the world. Our main character goes through some serious sex shaming, and people didn't even know the full story, but they were already willing to share their opinion on her choices with her body. And I just thought it was so powerful to see how some people wouldn't even give her a chance to explain herself before, because they already had this preconceived idea that she was a whore or that she was a slut. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say those things without being monetized or whatever, but that's what they called her, and it was horrible and it was frustrating and I hated it. But at the same time, I love Tilla. I love how powerful she is. I loved being able to read her experience and how strong she was. I also want to say that this like genuinely happened to the author. Let me read you one of the beginning parts of the book. For little Asha and all the girls with holes in their hearts, the size of their fathers, you are worthy, you are resilient, you are love. I poured my heart onto these pages with the prayer that it would give you the courage to set yourself free. Excuse me. And then it proceeds to say, Hurricane Summer is my heart on pages. I bled deeply to deliver it. I went into myself over and over again and opened wounds and memories in an attempt to find healing. So she basically wrote this book to find healing for herself. I'm pretty sure this is like a true story, but it's like historical fiction if you want to give it that title. Because it's her past, but it's Tilla, not Asha. But yeah, so I absolutely loved reading the story. It took me 2 days, I want to say. I fell in love. I love the characters. It had me bawling at the end. Guy, I was sobbing. I genuinely could not feel my heart. Like, I just felt so empty at the end. But at the same time, I felt so whole and fulfilled. And this was a serious roller coaster of emotions. I was laughing. I was crying. I was so proud of how resilient Tilla is. And I just can't stop raving about this book. It was poetic. It was colorful. The detail was so helpful when it came to like imagining these places in my head. I genuinely feel like I teleported to Jamaica, and that is just such a wonderful feeling to have. Well guys, that is going to be it for today's video, but thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. If you've made it this far, you guys might as well like and subscribe. I have some fun summer bookish content coming out along with some Christian stuff. So I'm very excited to see what you guys think of not only today's video, but of my summer content. I am so excited. But yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining in with me, and I will see you guys next Thursday. Bye!